Hey youth, what is up? We're here at Riley Scott's house. If you haven't noticed, he's kind of grown this like mustache thing on his face. Anyway, I'm tired of it. I know Mallory's tired of it. So we're gonna go up to his room. He's sleeping right now. It's like 10:20 in the morning. We're gonna shave this thing off. It's gonna be a good time. Come on.
Did you just shave my face?
Maybe.
Austin, did you just shave my face?
Let me look at this.
Go away.
That's man. Whoa, Riley! Did you shave the mustache?
I didn't shave it, Austin did.
Okay.
So it took me all quarantine to get that. It was my baby. But I don't want to talk about it right now. Guys, Eric Epperson is interviewing with us, so stay tuned. Boom. All right. Eric Epperson. How you doing, man?
I'm good. You guys doing all right?
We're doing so good down in Florida. You're in Joplin today? Where you
I'm
live?
in Joplin. I'm in Joplin today. It's where I've been every day. So
Every
yeah,
day.
I
Yeah.
think I've left town a couple of times since this all broke, and
Uh-huh.
really just to go see family briefly and stuff. So I'm here. If you need to find me, this is literally where you can find me. I'm at the office for the first time in several weeks, and so that's
Oh my
been a
goodness.
while. But here we are. We're
That's great.
sheltering in place.
Right, sheltering in place. I mean, Eric, you work at CIY. For those of you who have been to CIY, move with us in Tennessee, Eric's one of the guys that hosts a lot. Eric, you do a lot more at CIY. Do you just want to briefly tell some of our students who don't know you just kind of what you do at CIY?
Yeah, so I've been at CIY for a while. Done several things with CIY. Primarily worked with Move for a number of years, and in the last number of years have done things like worked on film projects and done writing for that, producing for that. In the last couple of years, I've stepped into a role where I oversee all of our communication and church relationships and things like that. So that's it's been a wild journey. 15 years at CIY, which is crazy. But yeah, so I've done lots of different things. Had a chance to hang with you guys quite a bit in Tennessee over the years as well.
Right, that's true. Yeah, we've been around in Tennessee. We've been hanging out at Lee University with you guys for a while now.
Yep.
And we love it, man. Every year, what you guys do has been so awesome. We're excited to. I mean, it's different this year, but we still get to be a part of what CIY produces, and we love that every year. It's been awesome for all of us. So
That's the word. It is different. Everything is different. Doesn't necessarily mean that it's got to be bad. We don't have to just suffer through it. I think we have to adjust our perspectives and realize that, no, this is just going to be a different summer. So good can still come of that. There can still be a lot of good and difficult things, a lot of good and hard things, but we'll get through it kind of a step at a time, embracing that mantra.
Right, we really lose some control, which I think in some ways is cool. You know, the key word is different, not bad, like you said, not bad, but different. And that being said, because this has been difficult and different for us and just the ministry here for our youth, just everything being online. It's been a really weird dynamic, just meeting like that. But I'm curious to know, this is kind of two questions. What are some good things that you think will come out of this? And what are some bad things that you think will come out of this?
It's pretty good. Well, I'm not a fortune teller, so I can talk about things that I've gone through in my own life that have been both good and bad for me. So as any difficult situation does, it really does reveal your idols that you have in your life, the things that you maybe cling to for security and cling to for worth. And for me, as I've walked through this, like, it really has revealed an idol of predictability in my own life, right? That I like to know what's coming. I like to know what tomorrow is going to look like. And it really has shown me that assuming you know what's going to happen has always been a mirage. We really are not in control like we sometimes think we are, because our calendars say we are. So that'd be a huge thing. It's funny. At the beginning of this year, my family and I, we have kind of a theme that we kind of build each year. And so a phrase or something like that we cling to. And in our phrase for 2020, having no idea what 2020 would hold, our phrase was grit and gratitude. And that has been a thing, I think, what we will take through this time with us, that we can actually be really gritty people. We can roll up our sleeves. We can do hard things. We can endure difficulties. And in turn with that we take each step with being grateful for what we have. I think I've answered every question. Every time someone calls and asks how I'm doing, I pause for a second and just have to say, considering the circumstances, I'm doing well. Yeah. And I know we graded on a curve, and it's I know it's weighted in a really unique way, but we have a lot to be grateful for, even in the midst of some difficulties. So I'm hoping I carry that. I have picked up some rhythms in my life that I'm really thankful for over this season. Working, most days at home have allowed me to have some margin in my life where I'm used to commuting or used to having to get kids out the door into school. And so a simple thing, but I bought a bird feeder a couple of weeks ago, and I've just been sitting. I sound like an old man, like I need to move to Florida or something. But I've just been sitting on my porch. I don't just say this to like boast. I mean, like seriously. Praying, reading scripture, watching birds has been a really grounding thing for me. I know the migratory patterns of all the birds in my neighborhood now. I have a couple of cardinals that show up every morning. I know a blue jay. So that's been really great. I think the second thing for me is I've always been an extrovert, but I am craving and missing personal connection, personal time with people. And I think that will be a thing that our generation will value moving forward. I want to go to a crowded sporting event. I want to get on an airplane. I want to do those types of things again. And I want to go see friends and hang out at their houses and stuff. So I think even somebody who may not necessarily be a real people person, I think someone like that will come out of this season really grateful for opportunities to gather. I can't wait to be with my church family again on Sunday mornings, those types of things. And so it's been a season where I've been grateful for the ability to be gritty, the ability to be grateful, the ability to slow and not just rush to like pick up your phone to entertain yourself. Cause like we're all kind of contented out, if that's a word, right? Like I've reached the end of Netflix. Netflix has been exhausted. And so what does it look like to get bored, and the creativity that comes from that? And then I think the thing we'll cling to on the other side of this is ability to get together and be with people again.
Yeah, I think hearing you talk about some of these things, some of the cons that we find ourselves like dealing with, some of the bad things is we're really becoming sick of this. We're really, but that can turn into something good. When I hear you talk about some of the things that might come out of this, I think I agree with you that a lot of us are going to want to just run back to community, even the people that didn't before. A lot of people are going to want to run back to that. And I love what you said about grit and gratitude. That's cool. That's interesting that your family kind of had that before this happened. Because, like you said,
no idea where that came from, but it really has been somewhat providential for us. Yeah,
for sure. I mean, we've seen people roll up their sleeves through this time, and we've all kind of had to roll up our sleeves figuratively in some ways, But then, I mean, look at what we are thankful for. Just getting through this. It's just, there's a lot that reveals itself that we can be thankful for. So I love that. Really last question. If you could say one thing to our youth before summer, what would that be?
That's good. So here's the phrase, and then I'll explain what I mean. And it's kind of a no-brainer phrase, but I really has been meaningful for me as I think through the disruptions that we all have to deal with in our lives now. And the phrase is simply this: summer isn't canceled. Okay.
Yeah.
Summer isn't canceled. And I think in order to really walk through that, we're going to have to shift a couple of ways that we view a few different things. We have to shift the way that we view our plans, and we have to shift the way that we view God. As I mentioned, this has really just done a job on my idol of certainty and my idol of what's coming next. I think to James 4. Okay, so James 4. Specifically in verse 14, talks about boasting about tomorrow, right? That I'm going to go do this, and tomorrow we're going to go to this city, and all those types of things. And James is basically saying that's foolish. You have no idea what tomorrow will bring. What you need to say is, if the Lord wills, ... I will do this, I will do that. And that's most of the time we don't have to think about that, but this has really become a season where we truly do have to process what it means to put our plans in God's hands and say, if you want to do this, you've got to make this happen. So I get stressed quite a bit personally when things don't play out the way I think they're going to, when my expectations aren't met. So I've had to put that aside and be okay with rolling with it. I have found that playing the victim in this time and space is not helpful to me, is not helpful to anybody. When I say, like, this isn't fair, I should be able to, or this is, I did everything right and still this happened. And I know we've got, maybe you're watching this and you've had a graduation or a prom or a entire sports season canceled, and it'd be so easy to go like, this is not fair. Where are my rights? And I think that's when Christianity can speak to us like no other religion can, in that when we feel taken advantage of, when we feel like our rights have been taken from us, when we suffer, then and only then do you find Jesus, who had all of those things happen to him, be able to say, I know how you feel. Yeah. And through his wounds, he can speak comfort to us in our difficulty, right? So we have to change our perspective. I think we also have to change our perspective on who God is and what he's doing through this time. Someone said this a couple weeks ago, and it blew my mind. This is not God's first pandemic. You've heard several times, like people say, like, this is the first time we've been through something like this, and society hasn't seen anything like this in 100 years. Yeah. God's not surprised by this. Like he's concerned, but he's not worried. He's not just watching the news and going, oh my gosh, can you believe this is happening? I believe he's very near to those people who are hurting, and he's very near to the brokenhearted, but he's not in a hurry either. Meaning, like, he knows what the antibody is, right? Like he knows the chemical compounds that would defeat this virus. And so therefore I think it's important to not rush to, like, what is God trying to teach me through this? Because that somehow implies that he's doing this for a reason. And I think that can be really toxic. I would encourage us to instead think through and remind ourselves that God is not going to waste this. That God finds a way, this is Romans 8, to redeem all things. And so therefore I think what he's calling us to do this summer is to be very present in this time, right? We'd be so tempted. I've done it several times where I say, man, once this is over, or we'll say, like, once life gets back to normal. And that's not true. Like, this is life. Like life is never normal. So this is a season for us to be, like, really present right here, knowing that God is going to meet us in this space and use this time to do something. I don't know what it is. I don't know how it all works, but God won't waste this season in your life.
That's right. So God redeems broken things in this world. Guys, engage, because God wants you to be a part of it. He wants you to be a part of it. Yeah, God is good. Like you said, he knows what's going on, and this isn't the first time. God is bigger than this, and just rest in that. And don't worry, right? I feel like when I hear you saying all those things, a big thing that sticks out is just don't worry about tomorrow. Yep. God's got it tomorrow. Just worry about today. Do it today. I love
In
it.
some way, that's those birds in my front yard, right? That they continue to move on and they're not up late watching the news and things like that. They continue to be provided for day in and day out.
God feeds
This
them.
is mine, but Jesus, right? And that is God's way of saying to me, I've got this. This seems really, really bad. And I'm not belittling it. This is really, really bad. But on the scope of eternity, God somehow in his infinite wisdom says, you can do it though.
Yeah. Grit and gratitude. Don't forget, guys. Awesome. I love it. Eric, thank you so
Nail
much.
it down.
Thank you so much for,
Of course.
man, we appreciate you. And we hope that in the near future, we will get to come back to Lee and hang out again.
We'll do it. 2021. Let's make it happen.
2021. All right. Awesome. Eric, thank you so much. You have an awesome day.
Good to see you, my man.
Good to see you.
Good. Be good. See you.
Peace.
Riley, what are you doing?
You can take the mustache, Nemo, off of Riley, but you can't keep Riley away from the mustache.
That's a really bad mustache, Riley.
Probably looks as good as the last one. Put salt on the french fries.
Man, I am kind of excited, kind of sad, Riley, because this is the last week of Youth Online.
Last Youth Online. But we have something to look forward to because in 2 weeks on June 17th, we are meeting together with just our small groups. So ask your leaders about what that means.
That's right. We've actually been waiting a couple of weeks to share this news, but I think we can finally do it. Guys, we have Youth Wave. This is our summer camp. This year we are flying out a few speakers, and we are really, really excited.
Super excited. You guys don't want to miss it.
All right, guys, we're going to go in time of small groups. We just hope you guys can get deep into really this interview and what God is putting into your heart.